I do want to talk a little bit about maybe, since you did work with Tasso, what you think, your opinion of what his psychology is. Do you think, because I've been trying to figure this out, do you think that this was a grand strategy from the beginning to screw everybody out of equity? Or do you think over time he realized, well, it's been architected that I have the LLC, I have control. All of these discussions have been verbal. Nothing's been put in writing. Therefore, worst case scenario, people have to sue me and I settle. Best case scenario, I demoralize everybody and they give up. And if, let's say he would have owned 50% of the company, he gets to own 100. Because this seems
Right.
to me such a deliberate breaking of the covenant, right? Of the agreement, the sacred agreement here in Silicon Valley, both from rank and file employees like yourself, frontline employees, co-founders, and investors, that this seems to me to be a premeditated screwing of everybody up and down the stack. What do you think, having worked with him for almost
Right.
8 years?
I disagree. I think that this was something that grew. I don't think that it was his plan originally.
Mm,
I don't think when he talked to me and promised me what he did, back then. Well, he didn't say shares. He didn't say, he said 10,000 in equity. Back then I had no idea what that meant. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, if due to hits the fan, at least I got $10,000.
yeah.
I didn't really think about the whole increase in valuation or anything like that, or what it would even mean. 10,000 back then is worth what now, blah blah blah. So
20 times, 30 times, 40 times. Yeah.
yeah,
At
no,
least 50.
we're not going there, man. No.
No, I mean, when you joined and he made that
Yeah.
offer to you in the first or second
Oh
year,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and at that
Yeah.
time, how many employees were there?
We had 6 or 7, I think.
All
Yeah.
right, so you were there in the first year. The company was worth in that first year 10
I
million.
was number I was number 3 or 4,
Yeah.
depending on how you look at it. Alvaro and I both started on March 1st, 2011. So we were both 3 and 4. Yeah, at that
Scott, let me
point.
explain to you what you should have gotten. And I'm not doing this to rub salt in it, but I'm doing it because I think it's important. And you've been kind enough to come on here that employees protect themselves. That's the good that can come out of this. But as the third or
Yeah.
fourth employee, and given 10,000, 100,000 would be 1% of the company. 10 basis points would be 10,000, right?
Mhm.
So that would be the valuation at that early stage. Some would argue half of that. The company would have been diluted maybe 20% at this time, right? If they had actually converted that $1.5 million round, or converted 15%, right? Diluted
Mhm.
15%. In other words, they would have added some there. So what that would equal to you, the company now is doing 200 million, I heard, or something like that. Is that the public whisper number?
Yeah. Now keep in mind, and according to Taso, that's they're trying to compare apples to oranges with WeWork, which used to be Odesk, of course. Or no, excuse me, pardon me, Odesk, which is Upwork. Thank you. There we go.
Yeah, Upwork,
And
yes.
he says, well, they're looking at the gross numbers, which a lot of that does go to the developer. So
Right, but they
that's what
take
he's saying.
30%. Is that right? Something in that range?
It varies, but yeah, it's in that range usually. Mhm.
Okay, so 30% of 200 million, 60 million, 60 million, you would base the company on at least 20 times that. So it'd be 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion. If you owned 1% of that, it'd be 10 million. And 10 basis points would be 1.2 million. You are entitled to 1.2 million in my estimation right now. That's what you should have gotten. And also in the first 3 or 4 employees, you would get a premium for being the person who took the most risk. So at $10,000, it'd be 10 to 20 basis points would be 1.2 to 2.4 million dollars. Worst case. Best case, you probably should have gotten just a straight up point as an early employee like this. 1 point would have been 10 million.